What's up, guys? So what I'm going to talk to you today about is the single most important thing for you to improve your vertical jump. Now, this isn't a gimmick. This isn't some magic supplement or magic exercise. I'm talking today about progression. And from training thousands of volleyball players, I can tell you this is the single most important things. Like, how do you progress your exercise? How do you progress your workouts? And how do you train the right attributes to jump higher and progress with those things? That is by far the most important thing for you to make ongoing vertical improvements. But before I dig into this, who am I? I am Coach Reed Hall. I'm a former Team Canada beach volleyball player, and for the past 13 years, I've been training volleyball players how to jump higher and gain strength intelligently by training smarter instead of just training harder. A lot of volleyball players will start training and they make a nice initial improvement on their vertical, but then those improvements start to flatline or plateau. And the reason for that is because you've become adapted to the exercise that you've been training, right? So we need to progress and evolve these things. If you're going to make a big vertical improvement, we need to know what are the attributes that you need to train to jump higher, what are the exercises that target those attributes, and we progress at those exercises. That's how we make a big vertical improvement. But the first thing we got to do is let's identify the attributes to help you jump higher. So what are the attributes that you need to actually train so you can make ongoing improvements on your vertical jump? There's 7 of them. The first one is strength, then power output, jump technique, your stretch shortening cycle, your mobility, your stability, and then also your body composition. Those are the 7 most important attributes. If you're improving on those 7 attributes, you're for sure jumping a lot higher. But some of those attributes are going to be more important to you, and some of them you're going to need to spend less time focusing on. But in this particular video, we're going to focus on how to improve your strength, your power output, and your jump technique. You're not going to want to miss this. And if you have not already done so, make sure to subscribe to Reed's Workouts as I release a ton of videos all about how to help you jump higher and gain strength intelligently. So what are some of the different ways you can progress at your exercise? Now, you can lift a heavier weight. You can move a weight faster. You can focus on putting more energy and getting off the ground quicker. You can perform more reps. You could hold a position longer, you could move to a more advanced variation, or you could change and move on to a tougher exercise, right? That's what we're chasing. We're chasing the progression. So how do we get stronger? Strength is like essentially our foundation. If you're gonna make any big vertical improvements, it's because you got a lot stronger. So how do we actually get stronger, and what are important exercises? Well, we know certain strength exercises are proven to be great for improving your vertical. That would be like a back squat, a front squat, a trap bar deadlift, a barbell RDL, a rear foot elevated split squat, a barbell split squat, a barbell hip thrust. Like, there's all kinds of exercises that we could potentially choose. You don't need to do all of them, but you want to choose a few of them. But now, how do we get stronger at those exercises? So we want a weight that challenges us, and we want to make small improvements on the weight that we're using. But what frameworks can we use to make intelligent decisions whether we should increase the weight? So one of the things that we use is called reps in the tank. What that means is at the end of the set, how many more good reps could you do? So when we're in season, we also often tell our athletes, you should have about 2 reps left in the tank. And when you're in their off season, we often say you should have about 1 rep in the tank. And so what that means is, say you have 5 reps of back squats and you got 2 reps in the tank. When you're done your 5 reps, you should feel like you could possibly have done 2 more reps. So you left 2 reps in the tank. And then next week, when you perform that same exercise, do the warm-up sets up to the weight that you did last week. And then if you feel like you have 2 or more good reps left in the tank, that means we should make a small increase in weight. Or if you're in your off season, you have 1 rep in the tank. As soon as I feel like I got more than 1 good rep left in the tank, I'm going to be increasing the weight. Most workouts, you should be able to make a small improvement on the weight that you're using. But some days you're going to have bad days. Maybe you're super exhausted and still recovering from volleyball the day before, or you had a really horrible sleep. And what might happen is you might build up to the weight you did last week, and it feels equally as hard or even harder than last week. That's normally an indication that's not the day that we make a progress. We don't improve upon the exercise, and we decide to stay at the same weight or maybe even reduce the weight and perform better repetitions. The other thing when it comes to strength-based exercise, you might perform one exercise for a prolonged period of time. Maybe that's back squats, and you find that like I've plateaued at that exercise. That's a really good indication to change the exercise, move on to a trap bar deadlift or a front squat or some other exercise, make weekly progress at that. And then the next phase, when you go back to back squats, what you're going to realize is you now have a greater capacity to make more and more improvements on that exercise. The next vertical gaining attribute that we're going to focus on is your power output. That's your ability to apply force quickly, right? And so these could be like exercises like banded speed squats where I'm focused on moving the bar faster, or a dumbbell squat jump where I'm focusing on getting off the ground quicker, or maybe even a drop jump. So these exercises challenge our power output. And this is obviously an essential component to help you improve your vertical jump. Now, when it comes to training your power output, it's different than improving your strength because we're not always focusing on increasing the weight. What we're trying to do is actually feel like we're getting off the ground faster, we're moving the bar quicker. So say you're doing a speed squat with bands, we're using lighter loads, so maybe like 60 or 70% of your 1 rep max, or just a lighter weight, and we're focusing on, instead of lifting more weights, can I move that bar faster each week? Or if I'm performing a dumbbell squat jump, feeling like with the same weight, I can get off the ground faster and higher. Now, there is devices that measure like your bar speed, but most of you don't have access to that. So this is more of a feeling thing. I feel like I'm moving the weight faster. I feel like I'm getting off the ground quicker. And what you feel is often true in this sense. Now, there is things that you can easily do to see if your power output is improving, So one thing is you can measure your standing broad jump, your total distance covered, right? And you can measure that every 2 weeks. And because a broad jump isn't a very technical exercise, it's pretty easy to perform and execute. You just measure. If that number is improving, it's a really good indication that you are improving your power output. The third area that we're going to focus on is your jump technique. Now, by improving your jump technique, this could be the fastest way that you jump higher. Like some athletes make a few small changes in their jump technique and they're jumping 2 inches higher. Now, I want to identify a few things like, what is your footwork like on your approach technique? Do you accelerate well in your approach? Do you keep a nice upright torso when you're jumping? Do you have a fast and a powerful arm drive? So the first thing is to identify what areas are you missing on your jump technique. Because in our Vert and Strength Optimization program, my online program, I'm able to sprinkle in certain exercises that focus on the technical elements of your approach and jump. And this is some of the reasons why my online clients jump higher quicker. So once again, optimizing your jump technique. Now, progressing at your jump technique is a difficult one because what you need to do is film yourself doing some approach jumps, film yourself attacking some balls in volleyball, and then analyzing your approach. Am I in too early on my approach? Am I accelerating my approach? Do I have a fast arm drive, etc.? And then you need to start to identify what areas you're lacking in. This is one of the things I help my clients with during the online program. Anyways, guys, we've identified 3 categories and how to progress in these categories. We have our strength, our power output, and our jump technique. Obviously, there's more components. Now, when designing a program for yourself, now, obviously, you've probably heard of periodization and you move through this phase and that phase and that phase, but not to overly complicate it for you. If you want to make a big vertical improvement, just have a balance in your program between exercise that train your strength, exercise that train your power output, and sprinkle in some jump technique exercises. I really hope this gives you a better understanding on how you can actually make some big vertical improvements by progression, the single most important thing to make sure you're jumping higher. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. I just filmed a ton of new content, so please make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel so you can see all the videos as I release them. Hope you enjoyed this content, and if you're serious about jumping higher and gaining strength intelligently, this is exactly what I help volleyball players with our Vert and Strength Optimization program. Now, you can learn more about that program in the link in the description, or there will be a link somewhere. The first step in that link, you'll fill out a quick 2-minute application. Then you can book in for a complimentary Zoom strategy session where you discuss your goals, your training experience, and create your Vert and Strength roadmap so you know the process to move through to help you jump higher. Anyways, if you guys want to take me up on that offer, find that link below, and I'll catch you guys later.